Welcome to another episode of Real BMX Racing, the podcast. Today's episode is sponsored by Wrenchman Racing, Wrenchman Wheel Builds, Recycles Bike Shop, Eddie Block Starting Blocks, 110% Nutrition, Extreme Squared, Artistic Apparel, and a special shout out to Toby Henderson over there at Box Components. Today's episode is about a young lady that just turned pro. She's one of the newest pro riders on USABMX's roster. She rides for Rift Tangent, and her name is Breanna Winter.
How long have you been riding total?
I've been racing since I was 5, so 13 years as of this past year. I believe this is my 14th season, so it's been quite a long journey.
Okay.
So how did you start at 5 years old?
My sister raced before I was born. She raced, so my family already knew of BMX. And then my dad took me out to the track one day to go watch Jake Peebles ride because they were good friends of my parents.
Okay.
And I wanted to get back into it, and my dad loved that I wanted to do it. My mom, not so much. But that's pretty much how it started. Just took me back out to the track, and the family got wrapped in again.
So let me ask, do you know the reasons why your mother wasn't so excited about it?
When she went through it the first time, it was just a lot of money for my sister didn't put a lot of effort into it, so they just spent a lot of money, and it was very taxing. I mean, I can agree. It was a lot of taxing years. So she wanted to try a different sport, but my dad was really big into bikes. He worked at bike shops all his life, so it was just bound to happen. There was no way around it.
And how does she feel about it now?
Oh, she's thankful for it. I mean,
Cool.
our whole life right now. So she's very thankful for it now.
Very cool.
So he was a factory dad coming out the gate, huh?
Oh, straight factory dad. For sure.
Nice.
Really good kind. They weren't bad.
So did you work on your own bike and everything from little on, or did you just leave it up to him?
No, he loved that part of racing. So he pretty much took control. I never got to pick a color. I never got to touch my bike. It was like, no, I'm taking care of it. He thought if I touched it, I would have just broke it. I was riding his bike. I was just like the person that got to do it.
You're just the driver, right? Like NASCAR.
Yeah, he took a full advantage of it. So
okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So what was it like to get your first novice win? Did you come out the gate just winning, or?
It felt pretty good. I think I only did like 2 races as a novice. I know I raced Reno 1 year as a novice, and then I won the weekend, and then my dad put me straight into girls. So there wasn't like any messing around. But back then, it was just really easy to go into girls. I feel like it's a lot harder now because so many people were so competitive in it. Right. But yeah, I didn't spend much time.
That's pretty cool.
Were you excited to jump up into that class? Or nervous?
I mean, my dad put $100 on the first race, so I was pretty excited to chase some money. So he was like, "If you win this first national, I'll give you $100." Wow. And he put it on the fridge, and I was like, so I guess I was really excited for the money part. So it really didn't matter.
That's the way to get kids fast, man, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And that doesn't cost as much as bike parts, you know?
Right.
Like.
And I didn't earn the $100, so it was easy on him. So saved him a bit of money.
Also, that's funny because I remember racing. My girlfriend was like, "If you win a national," she's like, "I'll give you like $40," and I was just like, in my head, I'm like, "Oh, that's the $40." Like, yeah, I know you're never gonna give up.
Right. My mom always bribed me as a kid. Like if there was something I wanted, if it was a big race, like Grands, my first year I went, she bribed me with something, and I won it. And ever since then, she'll bribe me with things, and it was just something that I don't know. I've always chased it. It kind of always worked for us.
Of course.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I enjoyed it as a kid.
So going back to your bike and working on your bike, do you work on your bikes now?
No, not really.
You have a dedicated mechanic, or?
I'll pump up a tire. No, my dad still took control of that. And then if I didn't have my dad around, I had TJ or someone from Rift Tangent to help out. So I've always been thankful or blessed with people around me to take care of me.
Nice.
I need to learn. It's something that is needed, but I just haven't put the time into it yet.
Well, it's no big deal. I don't even, like I was telling Shannon, I set my bike up over a year ago and I hadn't even cleaned it yet. I'm like, it's just been running the same since.
I'll clean it. Like, I'm very OCD about the cleaning, and I know Rich and TJ love it when the bikes are clean at the track. So I'll clean it and wipe it down every time. Like, I find that peaceful, but I'm working on it. Not very good.
So talking about Rift Tangent, like how helpful are the other riders on your team during like a race, like a big race? Do they encourage you? Do they watch your races and tell you like what you might have done wrong or how you could have done better?
We're very helpful. Very like we'll try to pick each other up, but we really don't give advice on racing. I think a lot of us have our coaches. We have coaches that are involved in our racing, and we all kind of know that too as well. Just watching each other. So we kind of just leave it there. And if someone's having a bad race, we know to give them their time and then hype them up for the next one. But yeah, pretty much it's just a good laugh every time you're in the pit. And that's really helpful within itself. It's just having a good environment to laugh with after either a bad or good race. So
how important do you think it is to have a coach?
Say that one more time.
How important do you think it is to have a coach?
I think especially for myself, it's very important. I'm definitely learned that I love having someone by my side that can help show me the way. Like I can get my stuff done and I can program if I wanted to, but I like having someone that I can put my trust in and I feel like always depending on myself. I have someone to depend on to help me get to that point. Not in a bad way, but you always have that person by your side that's always cheering you up, helping you out with being a stern person,
Of course.
Telling you what you did wrong when it's needed.
Does your coach travel with you?
He used to in 2020, but not anymore. It's kind of to the point where he's prepared me the best he can when I'm home or when I was home. And sorry, losing train of thought.
Sorry.
When I was home, he just prepared me the best I can be for at races. And when I got to the race, I knew what to do. And then when I came home, we reevaluated, worked on the things that needed to be worked on. And then I was ready to go for the next race. But once I got to the race, he prepared me the best I can. So there was nothing he could do at the race. It's kind of how we tried to structure it because we knew he wouldn't be able to travel with me full time. So, and I also needed to be someone like, if I had a bad race, I need to know how to pick myself up and be ready for the next one and clear my head without relying on someone to always help me do it.
Okay. That's smart.
Yeah.
And when you say home, where is home?
Home is California, Sacramento. So Roseville, Oak Creek was my home track for a while. I currently live in Indiana. I made the move to college about a month ago. So now we're here, a bit of ways, but I'm liking it so far. It was just a better training environment, tracks, and it's going to help a lot with the future.
I was going to say, so how do you handle going to college and racing?
It's easy so far. I kind of enjoy the school part at the moment. I never used to like school, but right now it's a good distraction from BMX. Always being focused on BMX can get you into a hole sometimes. So having something else I feel important and good right now. So I'm enjoying having both and just good people to be around constantly.
Now,
what are some other things you enjoy other than, bikes?
I've always loved mountain biking. So that's something my dad got me in when I was little as well. That's some downhill specifically. It's been one of my favorite things to do. I recently got into golf, so me and a bunch of people have been playing that recently. Been liking that a lot, especially since I'm older.
It's older.
That's about it. I don't really do much else. I focus on BMX most of my day. So.
Are you training like so how do you split your training? Are you training every day and taking like Sundays off, or?
Yeah, I train. I have something every day. Sundays are my only rest day, and then some days are heavier and lighter than others. So some are double, some are single days, and then I get to enjoy my Sunday.
One of the questions I like to ask people, because it helps me dig deep on it, is: do you have a breathing routine that you do when you're in the gate and when you're riding?
Not in the gate. I've been given some breathing exercises to help calming like anxiety or any like just really fast thoughts to kind of bring me back into the moment that I will do behind the gate. But I found if I'm prepared behind the gate and I'm doing that, getting in the gate, I'm pretty calm, and at that point I'm in the moment of what's going on. Around the track, I couldn't even tell you if I like close my mouth, open my eyes.
Right.
I'm going so fast, and I'm trying to slow myself down so much. I couldn't. Yeah.
Because I learned that when I was riding. I was gonna say I learned that when I was riding that I was getting gassed out pretty fast, about halfway or a little more than halfway. So I put a post in a group like, what's going on? I'm like, I'm not conditioning or anything, but I just try to figure out why am I getting tired, a few seconds into it. And they're like, are you holding your breath when you race? And I was like, is that a thing? And they're like, oh, a lot of people do that. I'm like,
I didn't. I think I ride with my mouth open. Pictures have proved that. So I know that one for sure. I used to close my eyes when the gate dropped, and I didn't know I did it. I thought I was perfectly normal. I came out straight every time, and then people started watching me. They're like, you close your eyes until you're like your second pedal. I was like, I don't know. That's a half a second for me. I couldn't tell you.
Right. It's crazy.
When you're on the track, can you hear what's going on around you? Can you hear the announcer? Can you hear people cheering for you? Can you?
I listen. I can hear Eric. That's about it. I hear Eric, and then I'm kind of just focused on. I'm mentally talking to myself, so like I hear myself and I hear Eric, and that's about it. Everyone else just sounds like a surrounding noise to those two people in my head.
And does it help you? Can he actually help you in a race, by listening to him?
Yeah, I think I've listened to him for so long. I know when, like, if he says someone's coming up on your inside, you can tell if it's real or fake. And then you can hear, like, the surrounding noise. If it gets louder, something's happening. So I've kind of, like, I figured it out with him. So here and there, I can pick up, like, if something's happening around. Or like if you hear a crash and you can tell that all that's happening, and just by the sound of his voice. So yeah, a little bit he can help.
Of course.
So when you're on the gate, do you listen for the beep or do you watch the lights?
I watch the lights. Yeah, I kind of tune out. Like when I'm in the gate, I can't hear anything really. So
you watch the lights. All right. So when you said you closed your eyes, somebody told me I did that also, just for a second. They said I like kind of close my eyes for a second and then get back to it.
Like you see the light, like I would see the light. And then when I would go to snap, I would close my eyes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I listen for the beep, so my head is always down, and I'd probably just close my eyes for a quick second.
Did you close your eyes while you listen to it?
I don't know. I might. I gotta pay attention next time.
It's such a hard thing to pay attention to because you have so many other things to worry about.
Yeah. And now that I'm trying to pay attention to it, I'll do it totally different.
It's gonna be it's not gonna be the same thing.
How easy was it for you to switch from flats to clips?
I don't remember. I think I was like put on the clips almost straight away. I didn't ride flats, not that I remember. I can't say I remember like anything of flat pedals, so I pretty easy to me.
Right.
I think once I was 8 years old, I was already on clips.
Whoa.
It was like 6 months to a year in. So I missed that whole growing on flats phase that all these kids are going through right now, which I think is very beneficial. I should have rode them more for sure.
So when you hopped on your mountain bike, you just automatically clipped in.
Yeah, by the time I got to mountain bikes, I clipped in. I rode flats for a little bit there. But I was so light on the bike, so when I would go downhill, my feet would just bounce off. And so I just complained to my dad a whole bunch, and he put clips on the bike because then I actually got locked in to the bike. And I preferred that more, especially racing BMX.
Have you raced your mountain bike yet?
I've raced all growing up. I've raced mountain bikes here and there. I haven't raced at the moment. The last 2 years got really focused into BMX, and I never spent the extra time to go do any mountain biking, which kind of sucked, but I had to make a sacrifice. And then moving to college, I have to race mountain bikes for the school, so I get to do that in a couple weeks, which I'm excited about.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So it kind of brings that side out, that side of the bikes that I miss, that I never really had time for, that now I have to make time for, and I'm pretty excited about it.
So what are you going to be racing for them? Like, is it downhill? Is it slalom and cross country?
So both of those. They have cross country, slalom, and downhill, and I'll race downhill and slalom. So
slalom looks so fun, The first time I saw it, I said, "Oh my God, this is like for BMXers, totally."
It is the BMX. It's BMXers on mountain bikes. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So I remember racing when I was growing up, and it was just a bunch of BMXers at Sea Otter and all that. It was fun.
Very cool.
Do you remember obtaining your first sponsorship? And who was it?
I don't remember obtaining. I rode for this team called Next Generation. It's called Next Generation NorCal right now, but it was just a smaller team of Next Generation. I don't remember that, but I do remember when I got onto Riff, and that was like the first team I remember actually getting asked, and I guess it was the only other team that asked me. I'm still on there today, so.
Wow. So how long have you been on their team?
Since I was 8. I got asked at the 2013 Grands after I won.
Okay.
So ever since then, I think it's like 11 years, and longest member so far.
Oh, really? So that's the only bike that you know, right?
It is the only bike that I know, and so I don't look to switch anytime soon.
Nice.
It's not a bad team to be on, man. Every rider I've ever seen, like coming back into the sport, I noticed that was the one team that every time I saw somebody with a Rift Tangent jersey on, they were usually in front. I mean, the whole squad was super fast.
Yeah, it's been a good squad ever since I joined. When I joined, it was a lot of heavy hitters. It was in my dream team for a while, and it was sick to get on. Like, I think I was the first girl on the team besides Taylor Wolcott, but the first amateur girl on the team.
Okay.
And so that was like a huge deal at the time.
Very cool.
So is this your rookie season as far as becoming a pro?
Yes. I raced 1720 at Grands last year.
Okay. How do you feel the competition has been from going 1720 into the pro class?
The competition is definitely harder, but I enjoy it a lot more. I guess you're not chasing points anymore, so there is a little bit more fun added with the pressure of this is your job now. I'm not out there chasing a nag 1. I'm kind of just chasing to be better every time I race, and I'm liking that part so far as a rookie. But I like the pressure of racing faster people, and anytime you get on the gate, you got to make something happen, and you can get second, and you can get 5th, and it just depends on how good you put your lap together. So that makes it better.
How inviting were they to you, like the other pros that's been in the game for a little while?
Like off the track, or?
I mean, off the track, in the gates. Just did they speak to you, like, or welcome you to the class, or?
Yeah, I've spoke with a lot of them before I went pro. I was friends with a lot of the younger ones. Okay. So that was pretty easy, and then all the older ones are cool. We all are kind of just we're all there for the same reason. This is our job, and you're there to win. So once you get behind the gate, no one's really friends anymore. So,
right.
But that's how it should be.
Has anybody, I mean, without mentioning names, has anybody told you not to do it? Like just to stay in 1720, or were you going to age up to a new class anyway? Or
no one told me to stay. I was told more than enough to go. I had a pretty good year last year, and there was no reason to stay down there.
Gotcha.
So
that's pretty cool. One of the things I was going to ask you about turning pro is, have you been starstruck yet? Have you got up in the gate and looked over to your left or right and been like, holy crap, I can't believe I'm actually lined up next to this person?
I think I did. I definitely did that my first lap at Rock Hill. I believe I was in the gate. I was in the gate with Elise and someone. And it was there, like, I was like, okay, I'm here. Like, don't mess up between these two.
Right.
But I was able to just put myself back into reality that, like, don't be starstruck because you won't ride your lap how you want to.
Right.
You need to get over that real fast and just understand that you deserve to be there. And you worked hard, so don't. It's cool, but don't take it too far.
So how much of the 8 meter did you practice before like getting into the pros? Did you hit it up like a 1720 expert a lot just to get used to it?
Not very much. I've been struggling like mentally with it for a while. More jumping in general. So it was a big roadblock for me. Still getting over that now. So we took this year a bit slower than we wanted to help with that. It is getting better. Moving out here to school would definitely help, being closer to the big hills. We didn't have anything to train in California, and I didn't have the funds to just go out and travel and go train at one. So it made it really hard to beat the roadblock that I had with it, without being able to actually face it. And then when I did face it, it was not very beneficial or helpful in the sense when I did. So, but I have gotten better. I've done a lot of things differently to try to make it better, because it is something I do want to get over and try to be the best in this. In this sport. That's what we're all here to do. We're not here to just take second.
So at the track that you started racing at, was that an old dirt track, or were the berms already asphalt?
No, my home track, Oak Creek, has been dirt. It is actually a flood zone, so they can't pave at all. The hill is paved, but they paved it without permission.
Okay.
So the city didn't allow it, and the city won't allow the turns paved. So everything I've ridden, mostly my whole life, is dirt.
So, because a couple of riders I talked to from California, that's the tracks they ride. There was one guy, he rides at 3 different tracks, and they're all dirt. I forgot what area he lives in.
He probably lives in like SoCal. SoCal is a lot of dirt. I guess everywhere in California is dirt.
Well, I noticed that when we went to Grand's, and this guy was on top of the berm, like carving it, just like pedaling the whole way around, and he just looked so comfortable. And I asked him, I was like, bro, is your home track all dirt? And he said, yeah, man. I said, because I haven't ridden on a dirt track since a kid, I'm used to asphalt. And then they get to Grand's and it's dirt. It scared the hell out of me. And he just didn't seem scared.
Where are you from?
I'm from New York originally. And so most of my racing was like New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Massachusetts, Gotcha. But it was just, unless it was a indoor dirt track, it was we did dirt, until it got paved. But then, then that's kind of around the time I stopped racing.
Yeah, I rode dirt, and you definitely, when you show up to Grand, you feel a lot more comfortable than all the people that ride paved. Like, I know last year, people were scared of that second corner a little bit, like just leaning into it. And we ride on dirt, so we know like how far until it actually gives out. And I never slid out. I've never slid out on a dirt turn at Grand, so I think I've done pretty good so far.
Do you adjust the pressure of your tires?
Yeah.
According to the tracks? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll let some out here and there and then pump it up when the track's either soil attacked or really good dirt. Like my home track has really good dirt and smooth turns, so I can run full pressure at there.
Very nice.
What's your favorite track that you've ridden at so far?
Favorite track is probably Rock Hill or Louisville. Probably Louisville then Rock Hill. I like Louisville because it's just fast downhill, and you can just go Mach 10 and.
Now Louisville, that's Derby City, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you like this? So you like this race over the weekend?
Yes, I was really excited for that race.
Because I was looking forward to it since they changed the track, but I personally could have sworn I raced there before. I'm old, so I'm like, like I was telling him earlier this year, I was like, dude, that's a nice track. I should go there. He was like, you were there just a couple months ago, dude. That's the video of you right there. And I was like, I was in Georgia racing. He's just like, yeah, man, that's you.
Tracks you've been at.
Right? It's all a blur.
It's definitely better since the rebuild. It flows a lot better. Like the rhythm previously was in the last straight were because they were just tight and just didn't flow. Right. But the new third and last straight was nice. I enjoy it a lot.
All right, so are you going to be racing Rock Hill before Grands, or are you going to be one of the ones that?
Rock Hill will be my last race before Grands, or my only race before Grands.
Okay.
So is that as close as you would get to a race before Grands, like a big race? Like, what if there was a race like a week before Grands and it was a big national? Would you actually even do that?
I don't think that would actually ever happen. So I don't know. Pro races don't ever go back to back like that unless it's in the middle of the year. So there's a good chance. I mean, I like Rock Hill, so I wasn't going to skip it, and it's another chance to go race those people. So
I'm looking.
How much do you like racing on a schedule? The way pros race, at certain times, when you're racing.
It's so nice. Getting done early is a good benefit to all that. Be able to go to bed.
Right.
But just to know when to warm up and how much time you have left, and you're not sitting there for 6 hours waiting for your second moto of the day. It's really nice.
Do you guys, with all that time that's left at the end of the day, do any of you guys like just get together and you guys all hang out? Like, hey, let's go to go eat, or the
last couple races I've been to have not been very good on a Friday night. Like we've had like just personal mishaps happen that cause us from just being able to hang out.
Right.
But generally, yeah, some of us would get together to go have dinner. Just close friends that I'm staying with. But mostly I'm trying to get to bed by like 9 o'clock, get ready for the next day. So.
Are you eating different leading up into nationals, or do you change anything, or?
No, I eat the same. I try to eat as clean and hit my macros as much as possible all throughout the block. But the training differs. So like, depending on the training is how my diet changes, but it's generally the same stuff all the way up to it. I don't like changing any of my schedule. I like keeping everything the same, so everything when I get to the race is as comfortable as possible.
Okay. Being that you're exerting more throughout the races, do you carb up more after the races, like straight up pasta, chicken type stuff, or?
Yeah, during the racing, I'm just loaded on carbs and sugars pretty much. And then right after the race, I would have a really high carb snack with some sugars as well. And then like for dinners, we usually do fettuccine, and then one night we'll do ground beef tacos. So usually the people I travel with, we keep the same 3 meals every time we travel. So Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night is fettuccine, pasta, tacos, and then more pasta. And then Sunday night is the time we eat out. So we try to keep everything just like we do at home because, I mean, you don't want to change anything up at the race.
Do you prefer Airbnbs or hotels?
Definitely Airbnbs. We always get an Airbnb. We got a hotel this past weekend in Louisville because we were with the team. But anytime I'm traveling outside Marion, I'm in an Airbnb.
Those are pretty nice. I like those.
They're also cheap.
Right. It's like walking into a house. You're just like, all right, this is cool. You know,
it's not like walking into a house.
It's like walking into your home. Other than it's a little bit more fancier, right?
So, like at Grants, we'll get a house, and that race is important. I love the house at Grants because you don't have to go back to a hotel. You need to go back to an actual house, be able to cook.
Right.
With those long days, it's very useful.
So this is going to be your first Grands as a pro, correct?
Yes.
So are you doing anything different leading up to Grands this year opposed to last year?
No, not really. I'm doing the same thing. I mean, I guess the difference is like just tackling a different weakness or the same weaknesses. But it's the same process every year. A lot of last year, me and my coach specifically trained for pro. So all of last year, he kind of threw out 17-20 in my head and in our process and was like, you're training like you're already in the pro class, because he didn't want anything to be different when I actually got there. So anytime we trained, it was you're training against the pro people, you were training like a pro. And so I guess it's made the process very similar to last year. So nothing's really changed leading into this year.
When you do your practices, are you the ones that is your like plan to do today? We're doing half laps, first half, second half. You guys break down your practices into something like that, or
yes, we always have like a 3/4 day, maybe a half lap day, some first straights, maybe for some first straights mixed in with some half laps. Just kind of depends on how many track sessions that week and what tracks we're going to.
Okay.
Have you ever had a carbon bike?
No. Rift has not made a carbon bike, so we kind of I never got a chance to try one.
So you never even hopped on like a friend's bike that was carbon just to see what it felt like?
No. I've always been scared to get a picture taken, so I've never touched a BMX track. There was there was one time when I was super little, and one of the girls got a picture taken on not a free agent bike, and it was not good. So I've just never risked.
I never thought about that.
Right.
It'd be that one time too. It'd be the one time I'm not on my bike and someone's like, "Oh, let's take a video." So.
What if somebody else took your bike and raced it? Like, and somebody saw it. Would you be worried about that?
I mean, if they needed it because they had a flat tire or something, I'll help them out. Right. I would hope they would do the same for me. So.
Have you?
I did that last year. What was it? No, earlier this year, right? It was at Rock Hill. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I grabbed the pro's bike and raced it. I was joking around and I said, "Bro, if I had your bike, I could probably win." And he was like, "Go ahead." And I was like, "Okay."
What pro was it?
I don't know. Should I mention it? It was Cam Moore's bike.
Okay.
The Dirt Devil, yeah. So he was in our tent and I was joking around saying, "Yeah, your bike looks fast. I could probably win on it." And so he was like, "Go ahead, take it." So I swapped out the pedals so the only time I rode the bike was from like the tent to the staging area. And then I got in the gate and I'm like, I'm gonna die, man. Because I ride an OS 20, the bigger bike. And his is a regular 20, and I was like, I don't know why I'm doing this. I just want to have fun and continue having fun racing, and so that was kind of part of it, Good. But I said, "Are you gonna get in trouble, bro? If somebody sees this?" He was like, "Nah, don't worry about it." So,
you'll be good. Just don't crash.
Yeah, right.
One of the things I was going to ask you is, what is your so are you into movies or music?
I would say music more. I would
music more.
I would listen to music more, but I do love a good movie.
Okay.
If I get a chance.
What are you listening to on your way to the track?
On the way to the track, I would steal like a pump up playlist from someone or country. I listen to country all the time, so it's all pump up to me.
Okay. Go ahead, Shane. I thought you were gonna say something.
Now, what I want to ask you also, what type of gates that gate that was at Grand's, the paddle gate? Did you like that gate opposed to the barrel gates?
Oh, I hated it. But I'm also someone that leaves really late. That is something I'm trying to work on, but I am late out of the gate. And so you put me on something that fast, I just got exposed.
Oh my God.
So it was, and it kind of just
the year before when you won, that was the regular gate. Back to that, so right?
I won last year, and it was with the paddle gate, but my gate was not very good in the main. I wheeled to the 30-foot line. It was terrible. I just had gate 1, so I got lucky.
I'm gonna say it's funny that you say that. I just want that.
Bam, gate down. Winter's got that inside. Oh, now Tessa Shriver with some power. Now new riders slide in. Winter wants it. She fired by. They're slicing it, dicing it. Boostad takes front. Boostad and Winter running 1 and 2. Kira Boostad. Winter coming after out of turn number 3.
Oh, but here comes Winter right now. A couple of NorCal girls. These ladies have battled it out all season long, but the dominant rider of this group this year has been Breanna Winter. Back to the line, posted for the 2. Oh, so Hobble going to get the 3.
How did you feel coming back from that? Because I was watching that and I was like, at first starting, I was like, she won that one, and I was like, oh, that's right, she did. So how did you feel like as you're doing it?
You asking how I felt winning that? The video paused when you were playing it, so I was really confused for a second.
Oh shoot, I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. I was genuinely surprised I was able to like make up for what kind of first straight that was, because it was not very good.
Especially where you made it up. But go ahead though. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was really surprised in my first turn. I kind of, when I came over the step up, I seen like 3 girls, or 2 girls ahead of me, but they were like within the passing range. And I was like, well, if I don't do this now, then I'm not gonna win. Because the girl that was in second on Babs, she's really, really good around the track. Probably one of the best in the class. So I was like, if I don't make a move on her now, I'm not passing her around the track. So I just had to do one shot at that, and then I was able to get around another girl in the rhythm. The rhythm was long, which is a strong suit for me. So I just waited till then and made it happen.
But then it went to the right, and you were on the outside. I'm like, oh God,
that's what I'm saying. I was like, oh God, look at that comeback right there.
I made the same pass on the same girl in semis. So I was like, when I got behind her out of the first turn, I was like, I knew exactly what to do. So that's why I kind of just waited till then. So it worked out.
Not for her.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, oh, again?
Right?
She looked over like, oh my God. She should have probably just knew, right? She probably expected it.
I couldn't let that win slip away after last year. That would have been really disappointing for myself. Or I would have really been disappointed in myself. So
how did winning that Grands feel different than from the first time that you won Grands?
I would say the biggest difference, because one was when I was 8 and one was when I was 18, or 17, is the work that got put into it. I knew exactly what I put into it, the years I put into it, the nights, the long nights, how many fights me and my coach got into, like all of it went into that moment and Friday night's moment. And so I guess that really made it special. The first time I won Grants, I don't really remember it. There was nothing meaningful behind it because I was also 8, I was 8. So I didn't know what got put into it. I kind of just got really lucky. It really was a luck race my first time. but this past time it was a lot of work.
So did you make the decision to turn pro before that race, before Grands? Like, did you know going into Grands, like, this is my last one as an amateur?
Yes. At the beginning of last year, I got told by my coach, we were going up. So at the beginning of last year, I knew it was my last year in 17-20.
So that must have made it that much more sweet, you know, the last one in your amateur and you actually come out with the win, you know, and the way you won. It's like, yeah. Awesome. Very awesome.
Like very Breanna style. That's what I've always been the type of rider just to pass around the track. I could not hole shot to save my life. It was very rare. Like even Eric would say, he was like, you can count on one hand how many times you won from a gate.
Have you ever raced any worlds?
I raced in 2017. That was not very good at all. But I haven't raced since.
Okay. Where was that at?
Rock Hill.
Oh, okay.
I did really terrible there. I age up. My UCI age is above, or not above. I age up in December, so I race up a class. And when I was younger, I could not beat the older girls. I could beat my original class for USA, but I could not beat the older girls. So I struggled. I got motoed. And then ever since then, my parents were like, we're not paying for you to go back if you're not going to perform, which was a fair ask by them. I wouldn't ask them to put the money in if the performance wasn't there or the work wasn't there. So we just never gone back. And then I was juniors 2 years ago and I wasn't hitting a big hill. So there was no going to Worlds.
Okay. Are you going to consider next year at Rock Hill?
Yes, I'm going to definitely try. Hopefully hit some World Cups next year. That would be a nice goal. But we have to figure out school and financial stuff and see where I'm at personally when it comes to that time.
So in school, what's the plan with school? Are you planning on graduating, going into what type of field?
I am studying business management. I would like to start a business when I start coming up with that now, and when I graduate, hopefully branch out and start those kind of things. And then I'm doing a minor in sports and exercise science. So I always loved like learning about the body and how it works and how it works for athletes and all that stuff. So I wanted to do a minor in that. I originally was going to do sports psychology, but it just wasn't going to work out.
It sounds like because the degree in that would be what like rehabbing, right? That sounds like that would lead you towards maybe doing like rehabbing stuff.
Yes. For sports and exercise science, it's actually personal trainers. So a lot of it right now is personal trainers, group training, along those lines. I'm not really looking into getting into that. I'm just really interested in learning about it. But I do want business management is. I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to do all that, but I have a couple ideas I've been working on or trying to come up with.
Okay.
I mean, do you ever have people coming up to you at the track asking you if you do training, or would you train somebody's daughter or son? Or
yeah, I had a couple kids when I was back home I would do one-on-one sessions with. So I had a little group that, I mean, I would work with one girl for an hour and a half and then another one for an hour and a half. But nothing big group-wise. I just like giving the time to one rider. So that's what I did. And then since I've moved, there isn't really a lot of people out here in Indiana. So nothing since I moved, but a lot when I was back home.
So let me go back to the whole mountain bike thing. Do you feel like being on another bike during the regular BMX season, is that an advantage, do you think, or a disadvantage at all? You know, because I was always told to just ride your bike. When I was a kid, I always just rode my bike and that was it. I didn't want to ride my cruiser or any other, like my 10-speed or anything else, because I just wanted to get so familiar with that one bike, you know. And I've heard other people hopping to other bikes and kind of not doing as good that season due to that, you know. Do you feel like it was a disadvantage maybe, like, you know, hopping on different bikes? Or?
I didn't think it was a disadvantage. I found it as an advantage for myself because it was something that got me away from BMX for a minute. So it was something that I can do and I can enjoy that wasn't all about BMX, because again, my days for a while just surrounded around BMX. So having activities that were besides the point that I was able to do with my dad, felt like it was a reset in a sense. And then it didn't really affect my BMX riding. It kind of just reminded me to have fun again. So I found it fun and good for myself. But I do know people that don't like it, because when they get on a mountain bike, it throws them out the window for a BMX bike. So for some people, it's easier to stick to one bike, but I was a kind of a kid that I can go back and forth and be just fine.
I just have one last question before I forget. Do you have a favorite rider, male, female, amateur, pro, that you love watching?
I love watching Elise. She's iconic. Bethany is really good on a bike, so I love watching her ride, and I can relate with her more because she's small, so it's cool watching her ride.
That's my next question. Go ahead, though.
And then for males, they're all fun to watch. They're all fun to just watch go at it. But Cam Wood's really cool to watch. I can't say I have a favorite male rider. I just they're all cool to watch. But for female, it's definitely Bethany and Elise, because they're the more stature. They fit the stature I'm gonna be representing for myself because I'm small. So watching someone like Zoe or Laura is cool, but I can't relate to them as much.
And how tall are you?
I'm 5'2".
Okay.
So
and another thing that kind of blew my mind when I came back, I went to my first national, and I think it was Everett that pointed her out. He was like, "That's Elise Post." She walked by, and I'm like, "She's so short,"
Yeah.
And I see Mackenzie Gayhart, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, she's so small."
Yeah,
and I'm only 5'8" myself, but it's like, yeah, I was just really surprised how small they were and how fast you guys are. I mean, Lexus Colby. I mean, some of you guys are like tiny, but you're so freaking fast, man.
Explosive. You guys are explosive out there.
Yeah, if you're small, you have to become a bit wider. So you got to make up for the difference.
That's awesome. Do you have any other questions? Because I know you had to go, so I didn't want to keep you over.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I was looking at the time too.
Okay. So,
I appreciate you guys having me on. This was awesome.
Thank you very much. I don't want to keep you from your thing. You do your thing, and we'll let you know when we got it ready for you to check it out. And also, don't forget to send me the picture for the thumbnail.
Yes, I emailed them to you. Did you
receive perfect.
them? Okay.
I'll check my email today.
Awesome. Let me know if you didn't get them, and I'll resend them.
Okay. Thank you very much. And
Thank you.
Have a
great
day.
night. You too.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.